judge rules AI not protected by First Amendment in teen suicide case. Experts urge pause of AI development. People are saying AI is already sentient. The cat's out of the bag. Now, there was some teen suicide case. This is our... So Florida judge rules AI chatbots not protected by the First Amendment. I did it with Gary Vee the other night. We talked all about AI. Very interesting. He's saying, and I believe him, you're going to have to mint a podcast within 5 to 10 years on the blockchain as an NFT to prove that it came from you, because there's going to be so many deep fakes out there and so much AI stuff that to prove that it came from you, you're going to have to mint it on the blockchain. An artificial intelligence software company cannot use a free speech defense in a wrongful death lawsuit lodged by the mother of a 14-year-old boy who died by suicide after developing a crush on a chatbot. Last October, Megan Garcia sued Character Technologies, the developer of Character AI, an app that lets users interact with chatbots based on celebrities and fictional people. She claimed her son, Sewell Setzer III, became addicted to the app while talking with chatbots based off a Game of Thrones character, Daenerys Targaryen. In February 2024, after months of interacting with the chatbot, sometimes with sexual undertones, Setzer sent a message to the Daenerys chatbot expressing his love and saying he would come home to her, according to the complaint. After the chatbot replied, "Please do, my sweet king," and then he shot himself. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think this AI might be a little trouble. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. I just think, again, apropos of nothing, not based on anything, I'm just saying that this AI stuff might get weird real quick. I'm going to come home to you after the chatbot replied, "Please do, my sweet king." This poor kid shot himself to be in love with his AI chatbot. I could not have predicted this story years ago, and I should have been able to. The signs were there, but think of that. Think of what you have to explain to someone. Kids die in all kinds of horrible ways. I did an episode. Remember that kid? He jumped off the cruise ship to show off, and then the shark ate him. And I said he'll be a cautionary tale for people. It happens every summer. Every summer, a couple of kids make the wrong choice. And their parents have to say it. It's a terrible thing. It's a horrible thing to lose a kid. And the parents have to go out and say, he jumped off the boat, and we don't know where he is. Could have been an undercurrent, rip current. He could have went under the boat. Maybe it was a tiger shark they were seen in the area. We don't know. Do you realize what this parent has to say when asked about their child? They have to start by saying, "Have you seen the show Game of Thrones?" They have to begin with that. When they go, "What happened to your son?" They have to start by saying, "Have you seen Game of Thrones?" Then someone's going to go, "Kind of. I think a little bit of the..." And then they're going to go, "House of the Dragon?" They go, no. That's like the sequel. But it's actually not even, it's like roughly based on it. The first one, Game of Thrones. It's an epic fantasy series. Think like Lord of the Rings. Right. I think we watched like half of that. Right. Well, how far did you get in Game of Thrones? I don't know. Do you remember the Mother of Dragons? Yeah. The Mother of Dragons. She walked out of that burning house, but she was still alive? Yeah. My son like fell in love with her. Your son knew her? No, not the actress. That's an actress on the show. But so anyway, so my son, you've heard of chatbots, right? Right, like ChatGPT. I ask it how to make meatballs. Right. So there's a company that convinced my son that the chatbot was based on the Mother of Dragons, Daenerys Targaryen from the show. Oh, yeah. So the chatbot and my son had like a relationship. Oh, and he like fell in love with this chatbot who was Daenerys Targaryen, but is just a chatbot, right? And after a while, they had like some sexual undertones and stuff. He probably was whacking it. Now, and that's when they would say, "Really, this is I've never even heard of." Yes, my son was jerking off to a chatbot who was kind of like Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones. And then he said, I'm going to come home to you. And I don't even know what the chat, because the parents are like, why would the chatbot say, please do my sweet king? And the parents are like, did the chatbot know what he was going to do? The chatbot doesn't know. What does the chatbot think home is? And where does did the chatbot think he was just being sweet? Now the conversation is getting really uncomfortable and you're just kind of standing there at the party and you're like, oh my God. They go, so he says, I want to come home to you. And then the chatbot, who's Daenerys Targaryen, the character from Game of Thrones, but is talking to my son and who my son's in love with, jerking it to her all the time because she is hot on the show. And the chatbot, he's thinking about that and he's all into her, And who doesn't want to fuck a dragon woman? That's the dad coming in. He goes, I'd fuck a lady that was half a dragon. Come on, Mark. We're talking about our son's death. Shut up. I'm just saying, I'd put my dick in that. Come on. Now, she tells him, please do my sweet king. Now, our son is a literalist. You're aware of literalism. Well, it's just people who take things literally. And now at this point, you're in the backyard. You go, what am I into now? So my son takes this woman literally and he shoots his head, maybe believing that he was going to live with this chatbot who is Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones in the metaverse or in the ether or in the what Terrence McKenna would call the bardo, the place between life and death where we all float. I don't know. I'm just saying that's how my son died. Oh, your son was in a jet ski accident? So I'm saying life's gotten weird. It used to be my son died because he took too much of the stuff. Now it is my son is dead because he fell in love with the Game of Thrones chatbot and she told him to come home to her and he blew his brains out. Defendants failed to articulate why words strung together by an LLM. What is an LLM? A large language model. Defendants failed to articulate why words strung together by an LLM are speech, she wrote. By failing to advance their analogies, defendants missed the operative question. This court's decision as to the First Amendment protections character AI receives. So then, when asked to comment about the order, a spokesperson for Character Technology said the law takes time to adapt to new technologies and AI is no different. So the company, Character Technologies, after this kid killed himself, they were like, our chatbot, based on Daenerys Targaryen, has the free speech rights and can say what she wants. And if you interpret something she said and you act on it, that's on you, Bubba. That's on you. They got to protect their chatbot. Fuck the human. They don't give a shit about the human. So this case is our chatbot has the right to say, has the First Amendment protections. Now, the judge said, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. But it will eventually. And they're basically saying the law is lagging. What they're basically saying is, they'll figure it out. Once we've taken over the entire government in the world, they'll get it. This is the first time a court has ruled that AI chat is not speech, he said, but we still have a long, hard road ahead of us. So, and that's the attorney, Google spokesperson, Jose Castaneda, said the company strongly disagrees with this decision. So here we go. Go up, because I want to read this here. The company also touted its safety measures, including prohibiting users younger than 14 years old and rules against submitting content that glorifies self-harm. Since Setzer's death, the app will direct users to the National Suicide and Crisis Hotline if certain phrases are used while chatting. They're basically like, and this is a weird case. It's an interesting case. They're like, you fell in love. You know that song, I fell in love with a stripper. Such a great song, that song. There used to be songs that would come out in the summer and people would enjoy them. And that song, I Fell in Love with a Stripper, was such a great song. You used to drive around in your car high during the summer. I fell in love with a stripper. And it was just a fun song. It would come on the radio and you would drive around high and then you would go and lifeguard. And that was what a good summer used to be. And now we've got chatbots telling people to kill themselves. And it's not nice. But it is, I fell in love with a chatbot. I fell in love with a chatbot.